Hey guys, I'm just trying to get the YouTube live portion up because I want to be able to see the chat, and I am not seeing it pop up. Usually it just pops right up. So let's go here. Hey guys, I see 3 of you are watching. So let me just go over here. It should allow me to see the chat. Awesome. Okay, so can you hear me and see me? Thanks for joining me. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? Yes, no. So I'm gonna go to the big screen. There we go. So you guys can see me. And awesome, thanks, Kian. So I hope everybody is safe and sound right now. I put up I like to play with the backgrounds, and I put up a room, looks like quarantine, like a little bit of a jail cell. You know, we have been home quarantined for the past 2 weeks. Just went grocery shopping on Thursday, quite an experience with full mask, my hair up in a hat, gloves, you know, super cautious because this is a virus that is killing, right? So why not be extra safe and treat it like anything and everything you touch when you're out of your house could potentially have this virus that could potentially kill you. My dad is a doctor. My brother and my sister-in-law are all doctors in the US, and they are saying, hey, the US is not taking this seriously enough. So please be careful. Please respect the social distancing. Please be diligent with your hand sanitization, hygiene, everything like that to prevent the spread, and check in on everybody, you know, reach out. I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm curious to know, what are you guys here for? Just to see my list, or you're here to watch my video to learn more about trading? Because I really want to help more people, and since obviously we can't meet all in person right now, a great way to do that is through this forum weekly on Sundays. So you guys can put your questions up in the chat. It's up there for me. So that is why I keep looking up there. Also want to remind you, I used to have my Series 7 way back in 2000, and it was the first layoff of my life that took me away from the trading world. And then the second layoff of my life brought me back to the trading world. So if you are going through the struggles of potentially losing your job, sometimes it can be a great blessing in disguise. And look at it that way. It's an opportunity, no matter what's going on in your life. If you are working from home, you know, lay the groundwork to change your life for the better. All right. So let me go ahead and switch it over to the other screen so we can see everything. All right. So I also want to let you guys know, anything, pretty much the bare basics video, which has the basic terminology, everything you could possibly want to learn if you're just getting started, is here with 50% off with virus as the promo code through May 1st. So the entire month of April. Same thing for my daily watch list. You guys get to see my Sunday watch list, how I set it up, and what I'm looking for, and why I put the levels out there. So same thing, my daily watch list is 50% off all through April. And if you guys really want to learn more, we have a training pit, which is here at the Dark Pools. I'm one of 4 educators where I work there with Stephanie Cameraman, Jay the trader, Paul the alien, and I go by Jungle Jane in that room. So definitely check it out. It's at the Dark Pools, and it's a great place to learn more about trading around the dark pool, which can really influence the market. And if you guys have not seen it already, below in the comment section, right after the subscribe area, there's a great video that will pretty much blow your mind about the dark pools and how we saw the start of this crash coming. So it's really awesome. Check out that video as well. All right. So let's go on over to the indexes and go ahead and talk about the indexes, where I see things going. And remember, these are all my personal opinions. Like I said, I did have my Series 7, however, it is not current. And so please do your own due diligence in trading. Please trade with proper risk management. Know that there are varying degrees of risk in trading any sort of securities instrument, and any sort of past performance is not indicative of future performance. All right. So getting into the SPY, right? I really like to also look at the 45-minute chart. So when we back it up a little bit, I know people say, Jean, your charts are so busy, I don't understand. Well, you can see here, right? This is the channel that was set up, and I don't know what's so big there, but really this block should be shorter, like right here, and just over here. So this area right here, that's where I want it to be at the top, so put it right there. So we had about 5 days where we had this consolidation here, and then again we had another area of consolidation, whether it was buying or selling, right? We don't really know if it's buying or selling until the direction happens afterwards, right? So bring it back down here, right about there. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 days, really 5 days. I'd include this day here too, where we had an area where the price action was just sort of going sideways. Again, we had up here 1, 2, 3, 4 days here, and then this week a little bit more. However, look, here are the moving averages, right? So we were below them right here, bounced above them shortly, but still stayed below this pink one, right? And it sold off. When we go back in history and we look back at what happened, right? Right here. So if I zoom in, back when we saw that crash starting, here's that pink line again. When we drop below that pink line is when we had all of this price action coming down, created a trend line here, bounced up, hit this green moving average, came back down, and then we bounced above, right? Let's go over here. This is TradingView. If you guys don't know, the link is down below. I love it. And so we came and look, we tested that moving average once, twice, and pulled back down, right? And here, this is a 200 simple moving average on a 45-minute chart, which we are now below as of Friday after hours. So what does this mean big picture wise? Well, we've had 5 days here where there was some price action consolidation, and we had another 5 days here, and then it pulled back, right? Yes, there's so much news going on with coronavirus, the oil, with Trump, everything like that. Is it really the news that's going to drive the price action, or is it the buying and selling of the market, right? The news is always doing what? It's reporting. It's always after the fact. So it's more the price action and the chart that's going to dictate where the stock price is going to go or the index price is going to go, because that is the most current. Yes, you can have a tweet from Trump. Hey, it might happen. It would be great if it would happen. This might be coming down the pipeline, but no assurances. So it could be that scenario where people that were so short on Friday went ahead and they bought at the end of the day, right? So let's go here. So Friday, yes, we came down. Oh yeah, Trump's tweet right here. Boom, back up again. But look, we also have this trend line that was set up. This is from the daily chart. I'll put it back on the daily chart. I know it's a little jumbled for you guys. Sorry about that. Let me zoom in. So you can see here, it was the top here to the top on the 4th of March. And that's what we've hit once and twice, right? And we also have the bottom that was set here on the 24th of January and the 31st of January. We hit it again on the 20th of February, the 9th of March, broke down below, and we set another wedge down here, which we broke above. We also have this trend line here, but more importantly, this is the wedge that I'm looking at the moment, right? So we are still bouncing between this wedge. If we respect the lines of the trend lines, it looks like we will be going down from here. We hit the 20 simple moving average and we started to curl down. the 4 and the 8 are flipped over and they're starting to curl down at the present time. So looking at the SPY, it's looking like it would be potentially more of a sell-off. We also have that dreaded H potential setup coming, right? So it's great. I'm starting to teach my little ones, the alphabet with the charts, right? Hey, NASDAQ was pretty strong, but look, if we hit below 171 here, 171.90, 190.72, likely a downward spiral to come. Great, we're not there yet. We're up here at 183.37, but we've got that 12-point move, which if we come down, we could easily go ahead and create that H pattern, right? And if we draw some quick trend lines, right? Up here. So you can see that was the top here. Look at that, we hit it again right here. And we've got a more, what's the word, slope, that's a lower slope. And so it's a little bit, if we find some buying power and we go back above here, we might come up and test the 200 simple moving average there. Let's go to the Russell 2000. So the Russell 2000 has almost completed that H, right? That I was showing you on the NASDAQ, right? We're coming down, yes. But if you look at Elliott wave theory, everything like that, you could have come down and said, hey, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe this is the 5th wave down right here. Or we have that H pattern. Hey, if we break below 199 right here, it could go down further. We have a trend line down here. We might be coming down to test 88, 85 area, even potentially all the way down to 80. I just started adding the stochastics just to watch and see, and it looks like, obviously, it looks like it's curling down at the moment. Fellow trader in the Java pit was talking about them, so I thought, hey, let me just throw them on. Let me see if I like them or not. So that's it for the indexes, and we'll go ahead and get into the watch list, right? So let me go ahead and pull up my watch list. Where is it down here? Where did I put it? I have it over here. Hold on, 2 seconds, guys. Where did I put it? There it is. That's why I couldn't find the live stream. It was all the way down here, popping up. All right, so we will shrink this. That's not what I meant to do. Now I know why I couldn't get anything to work. Hold on 2 seconds, let me close all these. All right, better. And now we'll get this set up. All right, so if you guys have questions, just put them up in the chat. Anything else you might want to look at. I also have the float and the short volume that I like to look at as well. So I'll quickly show you how I grab that information. I'll finish it up before I post it on Instagram and Twitter. But for the short volume, I just go right here to daily short sale volume at shortvolumes.com. Type it in the ticker, K's, right? I do it more for the ones that I have on longs because I'm interested to see how much people have shorted, to see if there will be a squeeze that will happen if the momentum continues to the upside going into the open. And many times, especially if it is lower float, you will see that it will start to make sense, that you have double that buying power. So Chewy is 52% and SAEX potential. All right, so that's where I find the short volume. And then the float, I just go to shortsqueeze.com. So I'm not going to do them all right this second, but I'm just going to show you. Here's where I find it right here, the shares float. So 3.73 million. I'll just do the longs since we're right here really quickly if they're all there. 45.2 million. And this is what I do for my daily watch list as well. in the morning, which I have to be honest, with the kids home, it's a little bit more work as they all want the attention too while I'm getting my work done. All right, 23.3 million. So I have a couple that are lower float there. All right, so we've got it. I already went ahead and put my list here. So let's start with pays, right? So PaySign, you think about it, this is an online digital company. Yes, they've got earnings, right? So we had earnings. It was reported at 0.06, lower than 2 cents. The market shot up and then pulled back down. It filled the gap right here. So we will see if with this massive volume, was this going to be buying volume? You can see we have this, if we look, let me draw a quick line right here. We seem to have a bit of a bottom right here, right? Where it really hasn't dropped below that, even though the earnings were not better than expected. You know, they might have some forward guidance that this is going to be going to the upside. So I like to go to my 15-minute chart. We'll do auto there. And you can see, look, came up to that pink line, same one on the SPY. And I put a resistance right here, 453, and a support level right here, 424. It's got 20 million in the float. Usually when you see a float, to me, that's less than 20 million, it's going to have higher volatility and it's going to move more quickly. So this is 424 and 453. So watching for that break above. If we can break above with higher volume, there's a good chance that it could go ahead and continue to the upside, right? It has been setting up. I've got all that volume down there and it's coming into, but it does look like that dreaded H pattern. However, it did hold down here, right? You can see all the buying wicks where all the buyers bought it up. Yes, there was a selling wick here. It hit the 20 simple moving average and it came back down. But again, like I was talking about on the SPY, if you can start to see things, your eyes will train you. I don't want it up there. I want it down further. And all the way down here, right there. So we have this consolidation that happened the week, the 16th through the 24th, right? So a lot of consolidation right there. Was that all buying? Look at all the volume down here. That's a pretty big candlestick of volume right there, right there, right there, and then boom, up, right? Again, some big candlesticks when it came back down to this lower level down here. And that big volume, and it's not dropping, leads me to believe that it would be dumb things. I'll touch on that after I get through my list, sorry. So that's what I see for PaySign. So let's go to TDS, telephone data systems. Same scenario, looking at things that have that abnormal volume, because the volume is going to really help to drive that price action. Whether it's really big buying or selling, you need to be aware when we have that big volume, right? So we have, I'll draw it to this guy right here. So we have a trend line now drawn right there, and upper up here as well, right? So actually I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to this one and to this one right here. So you can see when we look at it closer, it keeps testing this trend line. Tested it again on Friday. We had massive volume on telephone data systems. So this might go ahead and rip to the upside. Communication system, I don't know if they're related to 5G, but looking at this, and we've got this resistance right here. It looks like 1745 on the daily chart, but if I'm looking to day trade it, I go again to that 15-minute chart. And massive spike up, again, hitting that trend line, or not trend line, excuse me, moving average. So I want to see that it's going to hold what was resistance in the past as support. And I want to see that it will break out above 1663 right there. And it's pretty much right where it closed. Might move that up. We'll move it up to 1680 after looking at these candles here. All right, so 16 on the bottom, 1680. All right, let's move on to pets. So pets, online delivery service for pet medicine. Flea and tick, who's taking their animals, their secondary children, to the vet right now? Nobody, unless it's an emergency, right? And look at how cool these moving averages are. They keep hitting them and they use them as support or resistance. Gotta love that. We teach you all about that in the training pit as well as the boot camp. 70 hours of live training, which is awesome. All right, so let's get rid of these down here. So look at where it came from, right? We had that massive volume there. It's obviously had a lower day. And then look at how all that consolidation period. Sometimes you'll see that that consolidation period can take a couple weeks, right? July 16th through August 21st, but didn't even break it until September. And then once it broke it, look at what happened, right? So when you see something's just trading sideways, watch it. See how it moves these averages up? Boom, ripped up on earnings. Right here, let's see, our earnings date was 21st of January. So potentially we're coming up the 21st of April, right? So we'll keep it on watch. It's still above the moving averages. It came down, it touched the 8 and it bounced up. It held above this resistance back here. If we want to look at it as a potential cup and handle, but it came all the way back down to the bottom of the cup, so that's not valid right there. So a bit of an upside down head and shoulders to me right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, right? So let's measure that. So right here, 705. So potentially up to $35 as an upward target for PetMed Express. All right. Let's go to Chewy. So Chewy had a wild, crazy ride, pretty much low of the year down here, back in 12th of March, all the way to the high of the year, pretty much. So it's had a nice pullback. It's come back. It's hit the 21 EMA right here. The averages look like they're curling over. However, it did have that support that came into it. So looking for it to hold 32.81 and a resistance right here of 33.85. So when we pull it back on that yearly chart, you can see, look, this had acted as resistance in the past as well. So looking for that to break, right? We had buying power at the end of the day. Earnings came in a little bit better than expected and an up day right here. It came down, so did the rest of the market, but it pulled back up end of the day. So we'll see, is that just in relation to the overall market that it pulled back, or is it really that people are selling it to get out? All right, next one, SAEX. I have this one on here because this one is a lower float stock. It will move way more quickly, and it is a little bit riskier for that fact, but I like this gap to fill right here. If we can break that 160 on up to 180, usually I don't have stocks this low on my list, but if Thursday now happens with OPEC, with Russia and the Saudis coming together to talk about cutting oil production. This is an oil sector stock. You could look at XOM, you could look at XOP, you could look at SLB, you could look, I mean, there's so many different ones in the oil sector that you could look at all of them to see, hey, which one has that potential move. So this one might not move immediately. You can see it did have higher than normal volume the past 2 days. That is interesting to see. So if we could really break above that 150 mark, that's going to be important in getting in, having a breakout that could potentially squeeze, potentially even a couple dollars. When we look at it, it was 57% short, right? We still have, let's go here again. So when we look at it, everybody was saying, oh, oil's going to go down. So a lot of shorts jumped in, right? And then they might start to get squeezed. So when we look down here, look at that 80% short. Not that much volume, but when you start to see on average that it's over 50%, many times that will indicate that you could have a large squeeze to come, right? Over the last 50 days, it's been 60% short on average. Granted, smaller number of shares, and then 57% short on Friday. All right, not guaranteeing that it will squeeze, but potential. The potential is there, and just being ready either side of the trade. All right. So if it were to go below 121, all right. Now, potential shorts. Why do I say potential shorts? Because that's where the momentum has been going. You can see it's still below the averages, and it just started to curl back over. Look at every time that it's curled over, boom, it comes down. Hey, we're hitting the 50 simple moving average. Coming down, boom, hit the simple 90, came down, boom, stopped at the 20. This is the orange one, is the 20 right here. But the averages are curling over. So this is the retail sector. Nordstrom could have that potential sell-off to go even lower. They were talking about bankruptcy before, so potentially that could happen as well. We have this prior resistance here. I'd like to see it break it and break those averages as well. So 12.66 and 13.05. Oops, I didn't show you guys the yearly chart there. So with Nordstrom's, I actually want to go all the way back in time. You can see the only time that most recently that it was lower than this was 2009, right? It had a nice run, went all the way up to 80. This is our monthly chart, right? So lowest it was here was 1011. Oh, no, I missed. Let's move that. Hold on, guys. Getting the wrong candle. There we go. 661 was the low that we had back here. So if we do break below 11, we might be headed back down to that 661 and would look for that to be support longer term. All right, SPNE. Let's go to our 15-minute chart. You can see where it was. So this one had a big sell-off on Friday. I want to see that this support is going to act as resistance and be broken if it's going to go to the upside. And I would like to see that this support is broken to the downside. When we look back at our yearly, it could be just creating that top curve of the H back down to test 610 area. So we might have a nice move down to the 610 area from 736 or 763 on the upper end. All right, aerospace. Right now, just drove by the airport, didn't get out of the car, but drove by the airport. Pretty much everything is grounded. So all those contracts and everything that all these companies, even Embraer, you know, Bombardier, all those contracts are being held up, right? But again, we've had higher than normal volume lately. So looking for either breakdown of 1482, or I want to see it break up above 1535. All right, and now we're going to get into two of the big heavy hitters. So you can see air, again, it might be setting up for that rollover. You can see the volume went up, big spike right here. So if we break below this big volume spike from earnings, it could very easily sell off. That might have been, you know, buying power from people that shorted way back here and then they got squeezed. So looking for that to hold, or excuse me, to break down and then further selling from there. All right, let's go into Apple, right? So Apple, starting to see that H set up, right? I would want to see it break down below 238 and 241 to the upside for the long. We'll call this 239 and 242, right? You can see, again, keeps hitting this moving average. So if it were to break up, I would look for this 240, 350 as a potential target for profits. Look at how that's also resistance right here as well. All right, now, big thing about Apple and Microsoft, really watching them this week. Why? They are number 1 and number 2 pretty much for the SPY and QQQ ETF. Let me show you guys this. If you do not know about etfdatabase.com, very cool website. You can just go right here and let's go and let's look at the SPY, right? So SPY holdings right here. Microsoft and Apple. Microsoft is 5.69% and Apple is 4.89. So let's go to QQQ. Again, holdings, Microsoft and Apple. So those two are on my list this week to watch because they have so much weight in the indexes that if they start to move, they will probably carry the indexes down. Look, here's that pink line again, right? Well, we could go down to it, 228, right? If we break 239 area, right? That's still a $9 move to the downside. We came all the way down to 212. We could test that, right? And maybe it's going to go down even further. Maybe if we break that, we'll go down to 192 and then down here to 170 area. But you can see all this massive volume right here that came in, right? We had big volume here. Where are we now? We're now below that really big volume candle. This is the next big volume candle afterwards, right at this one, 228. So if we break below there, we could have a big move to the downside. As it's gone up, the volume has gone down. So there's not as many people getting into the position of Apple at the moment, getting in or out, right? And now the price is starting to drop again. So watching that to see if that will really move the market as well as Microsoft. These, like I said, these are two of the major players. So looking for their movement to see. So Microsoft, get rid of this green line. I have a red one down here. I could have just slid it on up. All right, so looking for 152.96, 152.26, and I'm going to go ahead and put this up here. I want to see it break above 155, 155.50, right there. So 152.26 and 155.50 to the upside for potential swing up. And let's go look at the volume again. So let's slide this up, right? So what's happening here? We had big volume. Look at that pink line again. All right, so we had the biggest volume recently right here on this candlestick when we hit the 50 simple moving average and it curled down. And then we had a pretty big gap down, right? And then they filled the gap up, selling power came in, hit this moving average, selling power, hit this moving average, selling power. We still are holding above this, you see this green moving average right here? So that's really right where we are, 152.26, 152.27 is that moving average. So if we go below that, potential move down to 149, below 149, I would look at 144 right here where it found support in the past, and then potential gap down fill to 140. All right, hello $1 million goal, welcome, welcome. Where are you coming in from? All right, so let's go and dump things you'll see. I've been using credit spreads. I will sell a call like 40 points under the in the money strike, so I'm in the money. Max loss is minimized, max gain is bigger. The way this market trades, it worked thus far. Yes, if you're doing credit spreads, just be super, super careful because when you're selling in this market, the way that is so crazy, you know, with options, the IV out of the money, or are you selling them in the money? Okay, you're selling them in the money. Yeah, you're selling them in the money, so completely different. If you're selling them where the IV is pretty much trading exactly like the stock, then the likelihood of that really going against you is going to be less. However, anytime you're selling for a credit, you could get burned. So just be very careful with that, in my opinion. Do you guys have any questions? Anything else you'd like to go over? My little ones are asleep. A little moment of peace. Anything else you guys would like to go over? Oh, I've got my other potential longer term swings on here, GO, right? So GO, grossly outlet holding, right? You can see we've got this resistance right here. I would look for this to break above 35.42 and to really hold this area. But again, when I talk about that consolidation, right? Look at this. How long has it been held down here, right? Not super, super high volume down there, but it's been just trading in this channel. Whoop, ran up above, oh, found the top of the box, high volume there, came down, broke down below, and then we're using that as a support right now of the 33.50. So this might have a potential move to the upside uh, with all the food. You know, the grocery sales are probably going to be much higher. You got to think of what are the basic goods that people are buying right now: food, medicine, pet food, online communication businesses. Zoom had a major breach of security, so that went down. But like pay signs, DocuSign, DOCU, things like that, where people are going to be using those to continue to work. We also have Macy's, right? So Macy's, let's get out, remove those drawings. So Macy's had this massive volume spike, which really interested me. But when we look back, right, why? All right, here's another reason why we might have had that massive volume spike. You see the price? It's less than $5. Many mutual funds cannot hold a stock less than $5. Does that mean that it's going to go to zero? Not necessarily. It could. It could go to bankruptcy. It might go under completely. You know, it hasn't had a very nice chart, right? But we had a big volume spike back here when it dropped below 4 before, and then again when it came back below, you know, potentially at the end of the week they were saying, all right, listen, you've got to get this off your books. It's below $5. You can't have that in your mutual fund. So that could be that massive 99 million that was sold on Friday. Let's also look at the short sale there. What do you think of alcohol companies? Luigi, I use Trade Ideas to answer your question for my scanning with my custom scans that I created. So alcohol companies, 60%. You know what? Dumb things you see. I'm not like, if we go to STZ, they have a lot. Look at that. That's not very, that's going through the same cycles that pretty much everyone else is. They had a big volume spike right before earnings, hit the 20 simple moving average, excuse me, and pulled back. If we go to Budweiser, right now, they're looking fairly similar. They're not looking as healthy. They're trading more similarly to the market as a whole, and they are not trading alpha, so they're not going against the market. You can still find stocks like Procter & Gamble was doing really well. I don't know about KMB, but they make a lot of things. Yeah, KMB rebounded a bunch. They make a lot of toilet paper, diapers. Who else? We also have Heinz, Kraft Heinz. Same thing. They curled up and they seem to be more on the upswing as people are buying. You know, if this is able to hold potentially above the 50 simple moving average, you might see that that's going to go ahead and move up. However, there is the cross, the 50 over the 200, that's called the death cross, as the stock is going down, right, on the daily chart. Here we have it back on the 4th of March. So potentially you could get in just in my opinion, not saying do this, where it might, you know, if it's able to break above this area right here, looks like it could be a setup for a potential head and shoulders to the upside down, right? Shoulder, head, and then maybe if we're able to go ahead and break right here, maybe it'll go on up there, but no guarantees, right? That's the beauty of the stock market. The supply and demand will determine the outcome of the stock, not so much the news, right? Because the news is always reporting after the fact. All right, so we had Macy's there that had that massive volume spike, caught my eye. Now I'm saying it might, oops, I'm still in that draw mode. It might be related to the $5 mark. So keeping it on watch, you know, hey, I'll just put an alert. Hey, are we going to cross up above 686? Crossing up. We cross up from there and we have this big volume. Okay, it could go all the way back up later, potentially. Not right this second, but everything is likely going to take a good 6 to 12 to 18 months to rebound because everything is halted, right? CCL, same potential. Look at this massive volume spike here, right? And Friday was 124 million, so that was probably about 250 million shares right there. And when we go here, how many shares are in the float? 436 million, right? So 436 million, if we had all of that traded in the past 3 days right here, and it finds a bottom, you know, maybe if we see it break above 15, 16, there's a potential move there with all this volume down here at the bottom, right? We had a big doji day and the volume the next day, another doji, and it didn't, let's see, the low here is 802, the high here was 853, so it's, you know, it's hard to say until it starts to curl back up with volume. Wouldn't feel comfortable getting in just yet, but seeing it as a potential setup for potential longer term holding. All right. Yeah, you know what, Luigi, the cool thing is you can share the cloud links. So if you have trade ideas, you can shoot me an email at carpeprofit@gmail.com and I can share my cloud link with you. And dumb things that you see, you know what? Not sure. You got to think about this. CCL, Carnival Corporation's really a luxury item, right? It's not a basic need, not like Walmart, not a bank. This is a luxury item. People are going on vacation. Whereas the airlines, there's good reason why the airlines are being bailed out, right? That connects people around the world for business, more of a use to it than just Carnival Cruise Lines. It's more of an extra, like a luxury item, not a necessity in life to communicate with people, in my opinion. All right. You guys have any other questions? No, there's a bit of a delay. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, guys, if that's it for today, please trade with proper risk management. Carpe Profit sees those profits one trade at a time, and I will see you all next week. Please be safe. Please be extra careful when you go out. Respect the social distancing. So you guys will be here to trade another day. Have a great one.